Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video, and today it's Wednesday, so it's time for a Top 5 Wednesday, but also this week we're collaborating with the BooktubeSFF Awards, and so today's theme is your favorite sci-fi and fantasy books. The Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey from Ginger Age Lainey and is currently being hosted by Sam from Thoughts and Tomes. I'll leave a link to both their channels down below, as well as the Goodreads group, so you can join in with future Top 5 Wednesdays. As I said, this week also collaborating with BooktubeSFF Awards, and I am taking part in the read-along. So far I'm currently only reading Nine Fox Gambit by Yoon-Ha Lee, but yeah, I'll get to the other ones for the read-alongs, but this is definitely an interesting book. Just keep it at that. Now, my top 5 books for this week. Coming in as number 5 on my list is, I would probably say, a whole trilogy, but I love the Poison Study trilogy. I recently finished it. I have a full-on spoiler-free review of this series up on my channel, but obviously my favorite in the series was Poison Study by Marie V. Snyder, so I think I'll be focusing on that book in this video, and it gets a really high position on my rankings because I really enjoyed this trilogy. This trilogy follows Yelena, who is sentenced to death, and one day she gets out and she gets another chance, and she can become the commander or king of this realm, his food taster. And obviously a lot of people want to poison the king to kill him, so she has to taste this before and find out if there's poison in it, and so she has to do a lot of studying to figure out sort of which antidotes to take when she gets different sort of poisons. So yeah, and then she discovers also that she has magical powers, and in this world magic is forbidden, so if anyone discovers that she's in possession of this sort of magic, she'll be executed for that as well. So a lot of things going on, and I really enjoyed this book overall. I loved the side characters. I loved Yelena as well, and I also came to enjoy her relationship, the OTP in this one. But I also really enjoyed the side characters, especially Ari and Janko, who are some of Yelena's fighting trainers, and I really enjoyed that. I also really thought that Iris was an interesting character, and she also did a prominent side character role in the completed trilogy. Overall, a really enjoyable read, and if you have not checked this out yet, I would highly suggest it if you like YA fantasy. It's really fast paced, and there's a lot of very interesting characters to follow. Yes. And coming in as number 4 on my list is going to be The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I haven't read more than this book, either in the trilogy and also by Brandon Sanderson before. They're really big books, but I read this in December and I really enjoyed it. I like the magic system, I like the characters, I enjoyed the pace of the story, the writing style and all of that. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get back into this trilogy, but it won't be until after I finish the BookTube SFF read-alongs, as these books take up a lot of time. And coming in as number 3 on my list is another trilogy, but I will probably say the final one is my favorite in this trilogy, but that is the Life Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb. I've really been enjoying all of her books so far that I've read, but the Life Ship Traders trilogy was just a little better than the other ones. I like the pacing a little more, and I like the fact that we shifted between different characters, sort of getting multiple point of views to sort of keep the pace a little faster, because in the Fast Year trilogy we only follow Fitz's perspective, and sometimes he can be talking about a lot of the same things and it will be a little dragging at times. But I really enjoyed this trilogy, but if you want to read this trilogy, I'll highly suggest you start out with the Fast Year trilogy, as they sort of connect all of the trilogies that she's written. Yeah, but highly enjoyed that trilogy, and the last one, Ship of Destiny, was my favorite in the trilogy, so that is the one that comes onto my list at number 3. Coming in as number 2 on my list is my only science fiction book on this list, and that is going to be The Martian by Andy Weir. I read this last year and I am absolutely obsessed with that book. Mark Watney is one of my absolute favorite characters. He is just completely brilliant, and I just enjoyed his humor so much, and I thought that I loved that this seemed so realistic compared to what could have happened. And yeah, I enjoyed that aspect of it, and you could definitely tell that Andy Weir had done a lot of research on how this all worked out. And yeah, and a really, really good book, and that's why it comes in as number 2 on my list. And coming in as number 1 on my fantasy sci-fi top 5 Wednesday list is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicles. I loved this series, and I'm still very impatiently waiting for the 3rd and final book. I guess along with a lot of other people who've been waiting just as long as me. But I particularly liked The Name of the Wind. I thought that was a little better than Wise Man's Fear, but I guess it's because I really enjoyed the sort of time that the main character, quote, spent on the street on his own. I found those chapters really, really intriguing, and how he got out of that. Quoth is not a good person, I would say. He has a lot of times where he's quite selfish, and it has some quirks about him that's not completely likable, but I will just really love the writing style, and I love the fantasy elements. I like that it focused so much on alchemy in this one, sort of science sort of fantasy instead of just regular magical fantasy, and I thought that was really, really interesting. It's not a fast-paced book, but I think most fantasy, high fantasy, is pretty slow-paced, and I enjoy that. And when I pick up these sort of fantasy books, I know what I'm getting into, so I guess it's important to have your mindset for the right sort of pace before you go into them. If you expect a fast-paced book and you go into a slow-paced book, I think you might be a little disappointed and find it harder to get through it than if you know you're gonna get into a slow-paced book and get a slow-paced book. Then you'll be able to appreciate it more. This was all I had for you today. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, and what are some of your favorite fantasy and sci-fi books. I always want to check out more fantasy and also sci-fi, especially since I haven't really read a lot of science fiction and pretty new to the genre, so I would like recommendations about that as well in the comments. Yeah, but if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!